want to call it?
Chandler Chata.
Nah. It's too alliterative. It's old-fashioned. Every business has an alliteration in its name.
What the fuck are you talking about? It's Chandler Chata.
Chandler Charter.
No, Chandler Chata. Chandler Chata.
Why? Why Chandler Charter?
Why not Chandler Chata?
It sounds stupid.
Daddy likes Chandler Chata.
What if it was a restaurant? What if we wanted to open a restaurant? What would we call it?
Be Chandler fucking Chicken.
That's it? We just have chicken? Chandler Chicken?
No, you'd have other things. You'd have sides.
Yeah,
And...
but you're just saying Chandler Chicken because it has a CH. It's alliteration. Why stop there? How about Chandler's Cherry Chatters? Chandler's Chummy Cherry Chatters. Stupid.
the fuck would you call it?
Cape Ann Whale Watch. Run Cape Ann. We take people out to watch whales. Chandler Charters doesn't say anything to anybody. Nobody knows what that is. I mean, if you had like a burger place, would you just call it Billy's Burgers?
It's Chandler Charters. It is Chandler Charters.
What are you getting so upset about? It sounds stupid, I'm just saying.
Whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Rescue me, God, my help.
Rescue me.
Oh, you bum!
Idiot.
Get that for me, please. Thank you.
Hello? It's Lee. Who's this? It's Elise.
Let me talk to your mom in private a second.
Dad, wait. It's sudden death.
Elise, you can't talk right now. It's sudden death.
No, don't hang up. Don't hang up. I'll
Hey,
take it
Dad.
in the other room. Elise, I'm gonna take it in the other room.
Dad, can I say hi?
Just,
Tell her Patrick wants to say hi.
yeah. Look. Elise, yeah, Patrick's right here. He wants to say hello. She's got she can't talk right now. Hello? Actually, Elise, you know what? Ah.
Manchester by the Sea is about human survival.
It's a story about shame and tragedy and grief, which is something that every single human being has to deal with at some point.
1 second, I just gotta log off.
It is actually quite funny at times, and I think it's sort of just as uplifting as it is depressing.
The screenplay and the performances are at the centerpiece. They're the most important thing here.
Just want to tell you that I was wrong.
You understand? There's nothing there.
I think people are gonna feel like this really happened and they're gonna root for these characters.
You really care about these people, and you're gonna really feel something powerful.
Matt Damon and John Krasinski brought me the basic idea for the story and asked me to write the script. And the idea that grabbed me was this idea of a character who's lost everything and has to go home to his hometown where he doesn't ever want to go back to take care of his nephew after the death of his brother.
No, don't do that. I'm gonna come up there right now.
I like the sense of how to do a story about someone who's been through something that terrible and is still trying to cope and still trying to do the right thing for his family.
Manchester by the Sea is written in just a magically evocative, beautiful way. It's very moving.
Kenny Lonergan's writing is just peerless, and his characters are so deeply drawn and richly drawn. There's such great detail. It feels like real life.
I'll be the bad guy, and you be in the hospital and explain the jokes to your son. I'm going home.
You're going home? You're going home?
Yep.
Let me get it back.
Fucker.
Come on with that stuff already.
This story unfolds in flashbacks, and it's constructed in this way that it's just creates all this mystery and tension, so it pulls you in.
Daddy.
You sort of get to know these people, and you get to love them.
Oh, God, no. Oh, what do you think you're gonna do?
And then you start to learn what has happened to them in the past.
Kenneth not only writes these incredibly sort of realistic people, but then he chooses good actors to play them. Every single person I've encountered, they're all at sort of the top of their game as far as what they can bring to these characters.
I think that his execution is specific to his vision, and I actually enjoy the fact that he was directing and that he wrote it, because I think that it made an easy transition.
I met Kenny Lonergan 15 years ago. I stayed in touch with him, and he sent me the script of Manchester by the Sea, and I said, this is one of my favorite scripts I've ever read.
This is one of the best roles I've seen come along in a long time, and I can't think of an actor who could do it as well as Casey.
My expectations were very high, but I didn't have any idea how spectacularly nuanced and emotional and detailed and really beautiful his acting was going to be.
Susie, Daddy's home. I play Lee Chandler, who is a father of 3, and there's a terrible accident, and he loses a bunch of his family.
He's a guy who can't quite get around the tragedy that's happened to him. And I think you see that manifested in many different ways. The simplicity with which he leads his life, the tension and the anger that he carries. And I think when we meet him, he's still a shell of the guy he used to be.
It's funny, I don't think of him as being inexpressive. I think he's just expressing different emotions from what people would expect in the different situations that he's in. For instance, he shows up at the hospital and his brother's passed away, and he's very upset, but he's upset in a different way from how the other people there expect.
Hey, Lee.
Is he dead?
His brother's best friend, who's played by C.J. Wilson, is there, and he's weeping. And you can tell that Lee is also upset, but you cannot tell in what way. There's something weird and wrong with the way he channels his feelings.
Yeah, we've got to talk about the boat and the website and all that.
Sure, I'm around.
You learn eventually that it's because he's trying to hold them at bay because they're just too much for him. So to me, the character is extremely active and very expressive. He's working all the time at things that the rest of us don't have to work at.
Casey can make you really feel all the levels of what's happening with the characters that he's playing. And I think you have to have an actor like that in order to pull off a role like this.
Just look at Casey's face when he's playing those scenes. Something's always going on in his mind, but the specificity of the moments really works. We worked on this a lot, just how he copes with small things and big things, because, he's a guy who's like trying to keep the walls from caving in on him every single day he's alive.
I really learned a lot working with Kenny. I think he made the experience, which was at times a real challenge. Some of these scenes, he made it, in the end, an experience I wouldn't trade anything for.
He's always thinking about the part, he's always thinking about the scenes, he's always thinking about the movie. He's extremely demanding of me and of everyone and of the situation in a way that I think is largely very, very healthy and stimulating and inspiring.
Why can't you stay?
I can't beat it. I'm sorry.
Settle, we can settle.
Leave, don't pick him up.
What do you mean?
If he's not crying, leave well enough alone.
Leave well enough alone. That's what me and your mommy should have done instead of getting married.
Oh, shut up.
Randy is played by Michelle Williams. She is my wife. We have 3 kids together.
When we first meet my character, we sort of drop in the middle of a messy, funny, combative, real relationship.
Hey! You want to keep it down, you fucking morons? My kids are sleeping.
I'm so sorry. Michelle is beautiful and sort of funny, but also can be very severe. She can kind of do anything that's asked of her in a way that it's intimidating to work with her because she's such a finely tuned instrument. It's one thing to be sort of able to take a character and a scene and all your dialogue and be really good, and it's something else to sort of bring a whole part to life and give it more dimension.
I spend a lot of time in the area, listening to people, I'm talking to people, I'm going to the hair salons, I'm going to the mall, I'm shopping for my character, I'm reading, I'm thinking, I'm watching, I'm doing whatever I can to get whatever detail I can that's gonna make it onto the screen.
Michelle has these brilliant, powerful moments in the movie. She lingers in your mind, you know, from the beginning to the very end.
The fire was such an extraordinary thing to see. And it was heartbreaking to see what a mother like that would endure, to see her children stuck and trapped. The blood-curdling screams, they just silenced the whole field, everywhere where we were shooting.
We just didn't want to do it. Nobody wanted to do it. That scene, that day, nobody wanted it to come. In fact, I think it was on the schedule a couple of times before we actually wound up shooting it because there was such weight around it. The incident cleaves everyone in half. It ends relationships. It changes people irrevocably. And so the person that I play in the beginning of the movie is a far cry from the person I play at the end of the movie. I did think a lot about that transition and how that would change her emotionally and physically and what she went through to get herself to the place that she is at in the end.
She had to divorce him, and you almost get the sense she wishes she didn't have to, but she had to because she's got to protect herself. She represents the exact inverse way to react to the tragedy than what Lee did. She was able to move on. She's not over it. She still cries. It's still heartbreaking to her, but she decided that we got to power forward and we got to keep going. And I think her presence in the movie is crucial for Lee to realize it isn't really okay. You can actually come back from tragedy.
Lee. Hi.
The scene with Randy and Lee, it's a big scene, it's important. They showed up and they were all a little nervous. And we rehearsed it a bit, and then they just came over and they just went like gangbusters.
Could we ever have lunch?
You mean us, you and me?
Yeah.
Once the camera started rolling, it felt like they never stopped. It felt like we were just sort of like locked in that scene.
Maybe you don't want to talk to me.
It's not that.
Let me finish.
There was an enormous amount of things that were happening just spontaneously.
My heart was broken. It's always gonna be broken. And I know yours is broken too.
You have to be prepared for the right accident to take place, and that's what happened.
I'm just sorry.
I can't.
I love you.
I was standing across from the right actress who makes everyone better.
The thing that I'll never forget is hearing Kenny call cut from behind the monitor and realizing that he had been crying along with us. And that was like something I've never experienced before, but something very specific about Kenny as a director, as it is that he's not observing his actors from the outside. He's like jumping in the hole with you.
You understand? There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
That's not true.
He's emotionally as naked as he makes you be. He takes himself to that place as well.
I've got to go. I'm sorry.
Kenny has an incredible ability to pull the best performances out of people, and I think it's a combination of letting them work with his words and also creating a real naturalistic performance.
I found like as long as you get his words right, he's very specific about sticking to the script, and as long as you stick to his script, all the rest is
you know, pretty much total freedom.
I have one version that works. That's the version that I wrote and that I imagined, and it works for me. And if that's helpful, I always try to share that with the actors. But I say I have, you know, I don't want to constrict them. I want to support them and set them on their way, because that's the best part of the process, is watching the actors embody the roles and bring their own feelings and thoughts to the parts and to the film.
I don't understand.
Which part are you having trouble with?
Well, I can't be his guardian. Joe Chandler ends up dying, and Lee has to take care of his son, who's his nephew.
Hey, Uncle Lee. Is it okay if Sylvie sleeps over? Dad always let her.
The main thrust of the storyline is trying to reconcile the fact that Lee is forced to go back somewhere he can't stand to be and take care of a kid who is desperate not to leave his home.
I'm on the hockey team. I'm on the basketball team. I gotta maintain our boat now. I work on George's boat 2 days a week. I got 2 girlfriends, and I'm in a band. You're a janitor in Quincy. What the hell do you care where you live?
Kenny has drawn a really emotional story, but it's not just depressing or sad, it's a really beautifully comedic story.
How's it going up there, you guys?
We're right in the middle of something.
We're just banging out those compound fractions.
Their relationship is really moving. It's funny and it's sad and it feels very, very real.
Kenny always says to me, like, he doesn't know a single great movie that doesn't have comedy in it, in some way. If it doesn't have comedy, the movie despairs.
Do you actually have sex with these girls?
Well, we don't just play computer games.
Lucas was really funny. The movie's got a lot of humor in the language, and he found all of that.
This is really good, Joe.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, this is a homemade carbonara sauce?
Jesus, shut up.
No. Oh, wait. It could have fooled me.
Lucas brings a tremendous emotional life to the part, and it's a tricky part. It's a kid who's been through a tremendous amount of trouble without having it broken his spirit. So you kind of have to carry that weight and also have a certain buoyancy to you, which I think Lucas does really nicely.
He might be 18 years old, but he's such a mature actor. Kenny immediately knew that he had a hidden gear and another depth as an actor. When Lucas opens the refrigerator door and this chicken comes falling out, the frozen chicken, and he's having these palpitations about his father being frozen in a morgue for months while they wait for the ground to thaw out.
Patrick.
No.
Hey, do you want me to take you to the hospital?
I don't know.
Do you want me to call your friends?
I don't know.
What do you want me to do?
I don't know.
It's a real heavy piece of emotional work for an actor, and he nailed it.
And if you're gonna freak out every time that you see a frozen chicken, I think we should go to the hospital. I don't know anything about this.
I just don't like it being in the freezer.
He immediately goes to a place that's sincere and that carries, you know, real emotional stakes. Casey has pushed him quite a bit, in a good way. And I think he really has fought for Lucas to get his performance to be exactly where Lucas wants it to be.
There's one scene we did, actually, where I was having a lot of trouble getting to where I needed to be. What do you mean?
You don't have to move to Boston.
What?
I want to be in Charlestown. And George is gonna take you.
We had been doing the scene for like 3 hours. It was 4 in the morning, and I wasn't able to connect to what was going on with the character. So you're just gonna disappear?
No. No. I set it up this way so you could stay here.
In between one of the takes, what Casey did was help me find the emotion, and the next take, I just burst into tears. And the second we got that scene, I just hugged him and thanked him, because rarely when you have an emotional scene, you have somebody there to catch you. And he 100% caught me.
I think on the screen, it just actually created a beautiful moment. Behind the scenes, I really saw Casey step up to another young actor to help him.
Great throw.
I think for him to protect Lucas and get him to a level that he needs to be, it was important.
Just let it go.
While there is a serious overtone of death and of depression and of tragedy and not being able to get around the effects of tragedy, there's hope.
I think that the reason that Kenny wrote about it and wanted to spend years of his life making it is because I think what it's really about is not why bad things happen. To me, it's like reasons to stay alive.
I hope that the audience sort of feels like they have experienced a little bit of some real people's lives, and maybe they will be sort of provoked to think about the ways in which tragedies and triumphs and joy and grief are all sort of mixed up and all together, and they're just all part of life.